Hey everybody, ChristopherOdd here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over two things. One's going to be really quick and one might be a little bit longer. The first thing is going to be how to join the character pool for Season 2 of XCOM 2, and the second thing will be going over all of the mods that I'm going to be choosing for XCOM 2, and I would like some advice on some of those, and I could really appreciate some of your input on a lot of them. So let's start with the simple one, how to send me your character to be in the Season 2 of XCOM 2. Everybody's gonna be, if you submit your character, it's in. And it's such an easy process now. Instead of me having to go through an email address, I got some help from Hairlock and Greypaw, who have set up this amazing website and this tool that I can use to go through the character pool. It's like amazing. So all you need to do now to send me your character, and just send me one, please. That's a big favor to ask, is just send one character. All you need to do is go to ChristopherOdd.com. You're gonna be presented with this website. It's not the sexiest looking thing in the world, but it actually works really, really well. All you do is you grab your bin file and you just drag it in here, and you're gonna see that it will populate the biography. It'll tell you like what type of status your soldier can come in as, if it's gonna be a soldier, a VIP, a dark VIP, or a rookie. And then once it's in here, you can just hit join the resistance and your character's submitted. Now, obviously, it's gonna check for duplicates and it knows that I've already submitted one, so I can view the character again. But that's simple, that's it. Drag your file in there and it's done. Please just send me one. That would be fantastic, and we should be good to go. You can also download all of the character pools from here. So if you just click on download character pools, pretty soon playthrough 2 will be available. But playthrough 1 has all of the characters that I got a chance to import, all of the Ninja Turtle guys, the Witcher guys, YouTube personalities, my soldier, and then the All-Stars are there as well. And what's really cool is, yeah, you can just download it from here and that's pretty slick. But if you just click on content, it will actually show you the biography of everything, and it'll show you some quick stats about what's in the pool. So it gives you like gender breakdowns, country breakdowns, pretty cool. And if Hairlock feels like expanding on that, then all the power to him. But I don't think we need to put any more stats on here, but it's just kind of cool that it works. Anyways, so that's about it. You can go over to characters and you can see who's in the current character pool. So far, it's just the 3 of us. So feel free to submit your soldier. Next, let's talk about the mods, and this is where I'm going to be spending the most amount of our time today. I'm gonna put this link in the description, and if you're gonna submit a character, it would probably be a good idea to use the same cosmetic mods. I'm not saying you have to, but if you have any of these mods, then for sure it'll work when you submit your character. But I think this is the current mod list that I'm gonna run in the campaign, but I need some insight. So I'll cover off all of the ones that I have in here. There's quite a few. Most of them are cosmetic. You can see I've got 57 different mods selected. And some of them will be minor gameplay changes, and then I still haven't decided on which sword mod I want to go with. So let's just go through it and then we'll talk about the swords and stuff at the end. So we're gonna go with Advent Armor. That's just a cosmetic mod. Anything that's gameplay related, we'll talk a little bit more about. So, Advent Officer can call reinforcements. I think this is just a cool little gameplay tweak to make the officers a bit more deadly. Basically how it works is, if all of their kind of minions or all their regular troopers are gone, then they will call for reinforcements. I don't know if they'll call if the troopers are still around, but I'm pretty sure that it only works if the troopers are gone. That's, I guess, how it's programmed. But I think it makes them a little bit more worrisome. Typically, I'll prioritize killing these guys anyways, but in the event that one of them survives and maybe they call in reinforcements, then things can get pretty hectic. I've also grabbed the mod called Additional Dark Events. This just makes things a little nuttier. It can give the enemy like, it can give them like different ammo types. I think there's even like a permanent one if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Permanent dark events. So these have a chance of being in play when you're in the max doom state, but they have a very high chance of being added compared to regular dark events when they can be added. So that's pretty cool, I think. Just makes it a little bit more difficult and provides some extra variety. This one has gotten a lot of praise recently. It's called Haven Siege, and it's basically a supplement to the retaliation missions in which you have to defend wave after wave of enemies. I haven't tried it, but some people are saying that it's like really, like there's tons of enemies, and on Legend it can get pretty difficult, specifically combined with increased enemy squad sizes. So I'm a little bit worried about that, and this is kind of where I need some of your guys' input if you've tried these in the past, specifically with increased squad sizes from the Advent side. I don't want it to, like, I would love for it to be challenging, and if we lose more soldiers, like, that's all good. That's fine. I want to try and get more soldiers involved and have a larger roster, and I'm going to talk about some ways that we're going to do that. But I also want to make sure that it's not, you don't just have this mission where it's like literally impossible. So yeah, I think we'll give it a shot. Let's see. After action, days wounded. This is just going to show you how many days they're wounded for, like, right away, so you don't have to go and check it. Cap and Bub's accessory pack. It's just a whole bunch of new customization options. I think it's like the top rated mod on the workshop. Like, really, really cool. Clean cinematic I got, which is nice. It removes all of the pop-ups and stuff that happen during the cinematics. There's some things that I really like about it. It's just really, as it says, it's really clean. But on the other side, sometimes you have to wait till the cinematic is over before you can see the damage that's been applied, and so it's like a little cliffhanger every time. But I do think that it's nice to have in there. Configurable mission timers. So I added this because we are going to have more enemies on the map, and eventually we're going to have more XCOM soldiers as well. So the way that I have this set up right now is that when you go into a mission with a timer, it will automatically add 2 to every timer, and then it may add a random variable between 0 and 3 is what I have it set at. So those aren't, you know, it might add 0, 1, 2, or 3 to that, and I think that might even be a little bit much at this point. Like, I really have no idea what to expect once we have more enemies coming in. So I'll probably tweak that one down a bit now that I'm just saying it out loud. And I'll probably do, like, maybe I'll just guarantee 1 extra turn on every timer, and then I'll do a random variable from 0 to 2. Maybe that seems like it might be better. But yeah, I think that's a necessity when we have more enemies on the map. Configurable, protect the device. So this is actually, I think this is a really good tweak. Specifically, again, with more enemies on the map. So what it does is it changes the device objective HP, so it scales more reasonably throughout the game. So at the early game it's 32, mid game is 48, and then late game 72. You can go and change this if you want. I'm just going to leave it like this. I just think that once you start getting enemies that are hitting it really hard late game, and there's going to be more of them, it could end like immediately. So that's I think a pretty good mod that's in there. And I gotta say, this BG creator, he's done a lot of like little tweaks, you know, some throwbacks to like Long War and stuff. So if you get a chance to check him out, go right ahead. Custom bandanas by Beacon. It's just a cosmetic. I've got the Deadpool voice pack just because I think it's hilarious. And if somebody submits a Deadpool character, like even just the voice, like I think that'll be so funny just to hear something different on the battlefield. Desert Eagle pistol, it's just a cosmetic mod. There's no changes to the actual weapon damage. Evac All is a UI improvement so that we can put everybody into the evac zone and just get them all out with one button. Free camera rotation. I'm having problems with this right now. It's like zooming in too far and backing out too far. So I'm gonna have to experiment with that just a little bit. But it was working great previously, but after the recent patch, it changed a bit. There's a free reload mod where it just shows the icon in green if you have a free reload available, so you don't have to hover on your weapon to check it. Full character customization from the start. Really straightforward. It's just unlocks all the customization options, and you don't have to wait till you get to, what is it, Sergeant or whatever, to be able to use all your customization options. So it's a nice tweak so that the soldiers that you guys submit can be awesome, like from the get-go. Actually, I think created soldiers, they have most of their stuff already, but anyways, it's set. Gotcha, which is kind of a line of sight indicator, but it also shows if you're flanking, and it shows a couple of other things. It will also show you if you're within like hacking range, which is super helpful to me, I think. That's one thing I'm looking forward to. In my testing, like I haven't had a hacking mission. I haven't tested that much, to be honest, because I don't have that much time, but this I think is going to be just a great mod, and I think the game should just like steal it and implement it. It's so good. Some couple of different gun variants, just for some variety. Halo Reach helmets, they look pretty nice. Halo ODST helmets, they all look actually really good in this universe. I've got the improved AI mod going on here, and I'm not going to go through like all of this because there's a lot, but basically it makes the enemy value cover a little bit more, so they'll go for full cover. I've done a few missions to test, and like enemies will certainly try to flank you a hell of a lot more. They'll try to regroup with their other squads if their squad gets all but killed, and that will be a priority for them. Like they'll go and get reinforcements. I like this one. If you're hiding on a roof or similarly out of reach and stun lancers can't reach you, they'll try throwing grenades. I think enemies underuse grenades a lot. I just think this mod's gonna it'll keep me on my toes quite a bit. Because once you start to really understand what the AI is gonna do, then you can kind of play to just manipulate it in a way, right? But that's just part of, you know, gaming, I guess, is that once you learn the way that's gonna work, why would you do it another way? So I think it's pretty cool that somebody's put this work in, and I'm excited to see what it does. Increased enemy squad size. So I've added this. I haven't tweaked anything. Basically, it's just going to add 1, maybe 2 extra units. In the first few missions, it's actually really fun because, like, even on the Gatecrasher mission, the very first one, you go out with 4 soldiers, and the first pods that you're going to find, typically, it's either going to be a sectoid with 2 soldiers now, instead of the previous 1, I think it was, obviously. And then the other squads that you'll find is 4 troopers, and then you'll find an advent captain and 3 troopers, which is like, it's pretty crazy. So you got to be really careful, but it's actually quite fun. Now, this is what I'm a little bit worried about in like later game scenarios where there's a ton of enemies and there's a ton of pods, and if we have an extra enemy for every pod, I just want to make sure that everything's balanced so that it's actually achievable. And specifically when we're working with timers, it is something that I'm concerned about, but I think we'll just have to kind of experiment. And if you guys have any input on this, I would really, really appreciate it. And yeah, just let me know and we'll just kind of go from there. So this one is pretty straightforward, it says, so I'm hoping that it works out okay. It's just 1 extra per pod, I think, but we'll see. Ink and Paint is just a cosmetic mod for arm tattoos and face paints. I got a Japanese voice pack, so we can have some Japanese characters. We've got a sniper rifle here. It's just a cosmetic variant. We still got the leader mod from Long War. This mod I really love. It's the lifetime stats mod created by Cosmo. And I just think this is super cool. It shows you all of their kills, their shots, their crits, like everything. And also built in this like luck stat. And basically, here it is. What is the lucky percentage and how do you compute it? So it's how often this soldier beats the RNG. See below for the full algorithm with examples. So let's take a look here. Due to popular demand, here are the algorithms I'm using to calculate luck and but probably. So poor decisions incoming, I'm sure. So luck equals your hits divided by your average hit percentage times shots minus 1. So if you're like a stats guy, this is freaking awesome. This is like kind of showing how often does this soldier like beat the odds, you know, and then it applies this like variable to your shot. And I'll see if he's got a screenshot of it here. Yeah, right here. So it's pretty cool and a bit misleading, but as an example, because this soldier, Andy Peterson, for whatever reason, happens to get more lucky shots, His hit percentage is 56, and it is 56. The mod does not change what his hit percentage is. But you see how it says, but probably 69%? Basically, it's using some of that math that we saw below to come up with his lucky percentage, and then it's applying a variable to get this. It's probably going to be 69% with this guy. But I think just the way that I said it there is the way that you should think about it if you're going to use this mod. Like, don't trust that 69. It's still a 56% shot. But it's just, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool, and I like what he's done with this. So that's that one's in there, and I already love it. Next, we've got another light machine gun variant, the M249. We've got some Metal Gear Solid 5 soldier customizations, Mass Effect armor and camo pack, Mass Effect Jack appearance pack, military camouflage patterns, mission timer mating. This is a nice UI tweak that will show you specifics of how long missions take to expire. So you can see the council mission expires in exactly 21 hours, expires in 3 days. Previously, it just didn't show you at all. Also, I think once you reach like under 2 days, this starts showing in hours, so you can get a lot more of a fine adjustment, and you can scan a little bit more accurately than previously. So I like that. And again, that's BG as well, if you notice. More maps pack. I love this already. Like, even in the first couple of missions, it's like there's a lot of variety there, where it's just basically rearranging your parcels, and it's making it so that it's drawing like some additional parcels that the game's not really using. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Next up, more squad size upgrades. So there's a couple of schools of thought on this, and my school of thought is this, and I don't know if it's gonna work. I really hope that it's gonna work, but the first school of thought is, well, just start out with more soldiers. Start out with 6, eventually get to 8, and, you know, call it a day, right? I don't really want to do that. Like, I am thinking, and the way that I would like to see the campaign progress would be to start with 4, and then be able to unlock up to 8. And you can't get, you can't unlock your 7th squad member until you reach Major. You can't unlock your 8th until you reach Colonel. The supplies are pretty negligible, I'd say, because people will generally pay whatever you need to get an extra squad member. But I would like to see things grow organically that way. I just don't know if what's going to happen when I do hit 8 soldiers, if we make it that far. Will we have not enough enemies then? And if that's the case, then, you know, do I want to go in and like modify the files so that I'm getting more enemies, like mid playthrough kind of thing? I guess that's going to have to be a thing that we kind of feel out as we go, maybe. But if you guys have some further insights there, then let me know. But that's kind of the mindset that I'm in. And the other thing that I would like to do, well, I'll talk about it more once we get to one of the later mods, but I would love some insight on the more squad size upgrades. We're gonna take the Muton Centurion Alien Pack for sure. New countries, just to get some more variety in there. I like this one. It's a nice dropship debriefing mod. Basically, it shows you some additional statistics over here. Shows some of the luck stuff. Look at this one. Offensive luck minus quite a bit. Somebody had a bad day, right? It's just cool. I just like anytime we can see more information. And I thought, like, even this one where the stock XCOM 2 version has like most damage, most attacks, most under fire. This one just adds exactly how much damage it was, how many tiles they moved, etc., etc. So I think that that's a nice little addition. The numeric health display is really nice, so I guess this is pretty customizable for sizing, positioning, and coloring. I haven't messed with it at all, but the way that it comes stock is pretty nice for me. This is hideous, so I would never use that. He's just doing this to show that you can do it. But it is nice to not have to count the little health pips and just see straight up damage or straight up health numbers. So we've got that one in there as well. Next up, we've got the Overwatch All or Others. This is just a nice little UI supplement so that you can do your Overwatches a little bit faster. I've tested it a couple times and it works really well. Perfect information is pretty cool. What this does is on your attacks, it will show you like what exactly happened or what the chances were when you got your shot, I guess. So your aim, you rolled a 70, your crit, you rolled a 40 or something like that. I'm not even sure how it works. Displays hit, crit, and dodge percentage for XCOM and aliens, configurable, and much more. Works like Long War's second wave option, which I don't even know what that is. So, but yeah. So he did the clean cinematic and the free reload as well, so he's obviously got some experience under his belt. But it's really nice to just see what happens when you do it. It's also showing you this stuff here. This is what I really like, is when you're hovering on the enemy, it'll show you what their aim is, and if you've impacted their aim, like how badly, what their mobility is, armor piercing. I love that stuff. I just think it helps you make way more informed decisions, so it's cool. Raven Moore's digital camo pack. This is just another cosmetic option. SMG pack by Long War Studios. This is not just cosmetic. It does have a gameplay impact. It makes your soldiers more mobile, but the gun does less damage. We had that in the last campaign. I used it for the first couple missions. Show enemies on mission planning. This is really nice. So something for me specifically, I would find myself like bouncing back to the geoscape to see the shadow chamber information that was giving us what enemies were coming out. Now it's just going to show you in your squad selection screen which enemies are on the map. So just a quality of life improvement, and I think that that's freaking fantastic. Next, we've got Show Me the Skills, which is another UI improvement. Basically on the, I don't know who makes these thumbnails, but it's a lot, you know? But on the loadout screen, it's going to show you all their skills. Pretty helpful and pretty nice. Next, we have the Skulljack feedback fix, again by BG. Skulljack feedback happens when you fail, and you get that feedback. And there's this bug where every hack that you do afterwards will continue to give you feedback, and it's like broken, I think. So that's been fixed with this bug. And I think everybody should install this because it just works really weird. Star Wars helmets. So pretty straightforward, but it's just some cosmetic options for helmets. Stop Wasting My Time mod. I still have that. It's been updated for zip mode, so things just go really smoothly now. And I'm really happy with the way that they've implemented this. Suppression Plus is an interesting one. I think this is a good change to suppression. It behaves like it did in one of the Long War, like one of the later builds, I believe, where if you're suppressing somebody, your reaction fire isn't going to suffer the standard Overwatch penalty, which makes sense. If you're using it active, it shouldn't hamper your ability to hit that target. So this mainly makes suppression reaction fire ignore cover, which seems to already be the case for vanilla XCOM 2 because they're out in the open, obviously. And it applies 100% of the aim, 15% if the target dashes, determined by Overwatch dash aim multiplier standard Overwatch aim multiplier, divided by standard Overwatch aim multiplier. Basically, it just makes suppression a little bit better. And it's cool because suppression was something I didn't really use a lot of, but knowing that we'll get the full value out of suppression now will be pretty helpful, I think. Next, true retroactive AWC. So I've gone back and forth on this one, and I'm totally open to thoughts, but like, I would say if I were to talk to 10 people about XCOM 2 mods, 9 of them would say, I really want true retroactive AWC because it does unlock more random perks for your soldiers. And like, part of me is like, well, this should force you to build the Advanced Warfare Center sooner, because if you miss out on it and you build it late and you lose the ability to get those promotions, that's part of the strategic layer. But the other side is like, well, what about all the soldiers that we hire? They have no chance of getting perks. And then you can make the argument that, well, they weren't there for quote unquote training or whatever. There's a lot of ways to look at it from like a kind of a narrative or a story standpoint. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I really did like about the first season was when people would get skills outside of their class. And I think that that was really fun, and it added like some variety. Like when we had Luch who got the rapid fire, that totally changed the game. Like that like things, I think when we got that, things were going like not so good. And we got that and we just started like wrecking missions and it was fun. The only thing is like, I don't know if everybody's gonna get a random skill. I would love if it was still randomized, but just avoided the problem that you get where if your soldier is supposed to get their unlock at like a lower rank, but you don't have this built in time until they're a higher rank, so they miss out on that. Like I wish that it was still just not every soldier would get it, and maybe that's how it works, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure with true retroactive AWC, every soldier would get one. So I'm open to your thoughts, but it could bring a lot of variety, and that's the thing that I want to drive here. So upgrade reminders just showing that there's available weapon upgrades or PCS upgrades that you can add to your soldier before you go onto your mission. Next one is World Expansion Project Advent. This is another, it's a cosmetic thing, but it also does impact gameplay because basically there's new like map elements that have been added. And then when you combine this with the previous mod that I was talking about where there's new parcels and map arrangements, you get some pretty cool combinations that were never there before. Like look at this building. Have you ever seen that before? Yeah, okay, maybe we have seen that. I don't know. But it's pretty cool. And like these little layouts, I just think more random maps are better. So yeah, why not? Bring on all that kind of stuff. XCOM International voice packs. There's like Polish and Russian right now. Yeah, Russian and Polish. They're working on more. Chinese, Korean, Portuguese, Swedish, Norwegian, Dutch, Greek, Turkish, Hebrew. So when that gets updated, great. But currently, if you want to build a soldier with those voices, go right ahead. I really like this this add-on. It's just a tech tree add-on that you can access from anywhere in the Avenger. It just puts a little button in the bottom left that says tech tree. You open it up and it shows you this mapped out tech tree. So you don't have to like, you don't have to memorize it. If I had my camera on right now, I'd show you, but I have like 3 pages worth of essentially this from when I was playing the preview build like months back, and it got a little bit messy, so somebody actually cleaned this up and they built it into the game, so I don't have to use paper anymore. So I love that. It doesn't really fit with the look, but it doesn't matter. It's just information and saves trees. This is a nature saver, so that's why we've implemented it. Next, we added a new mech. It's called a breacher. He carries a shotgun. He's got a flamethrower, and he's got micro missiles and suppression. So yeah, that's great. I think it'll be cool. I like this. I like just new enemy types. There's a couple of enemy types that I looked at that I'm very hesitant about. There's one that will have a whole bunch of different Vipers, and I'm not totally sold on it. Like some of them just look super tacky. They look like they're all like rainbow colored, and I'm like, I'm a little bit, it just kind of throws me off a little bit. There is an Advent Sniper mod that I heard was pretty cool, but I also heard had a lot of glitches where you would stumble onto the pod and then they wouldn't scatter, and then they would just stand in the open. So I didn't want that to happen too often. There's another one that has a whole bunch of different Advent troopers, and some of them have like venom rounds. There's like probably 20 combinations, and they all have different abilities and stuff. I may add that one, but again, like just some of the ways that they look, it just bothers me. I don't know why, but I'm like petty like that, you know? Like I just want everything to look like cool. But I don't know. I may add it. Let me know what you guys think. I think it was one of the mods in the straw poll that a lot of people wanted to see, but when I looked at it, I was just kind of like, is this too much? You know? I don't know. I'll probably add it. I'll probably add the trooper one, the trooper variants. And then this one is going to be interesting. This is soldier fatigue. So remember from Long War, where you would take a guy out on a mission and then they would get fatigued, and you could still take them out on a mission, but if you did, they would become injured, right? Yeah, well, this is back. This isn't making the campaign exactly like Long War or anything. Oops. But essentially what happens, I think at default fatigue times are 8 to 9 days, yeah. And if you think about it, that might seem like excessive, but what's the goal of fatigue? Well, the goal is to make it so that you are forced to bring out more soldiers on your missions instead of just your 6 that you bring out like on every mission, which I do sometimes, right? Like I found that I was doing that quite a bit. I have like my top guys, and you know, why wouldn't you bring the best soldiers that you have, kind of thing. But fatigue kind of makes you reconsider that, and if you bring out a fatigue soldier, then they become injured. So this forces you to use more soldiers and have like multiple squads, like an A squad, a B squad, and a C squad kind of thing. And 8 to 9 days is not that long. When you think about how often missions come up, I would say it's between 7 and 10 days scanning. Sometimes it's a bit shorter, but I'd say on average it's probably around there. So you might have guys that are still fatigued, you might not. They might all be clear. But this will certainly make it so that we have to bring more soldiers along. We have to hire more soldiers. And that brings me to another mod that I'm going to be using. I don't have it here, but I will be adding it. I hadn't had time before I started recording this because it's getting pretty late, as you can see. But it's a mod that makes us have a larger starting roster. So we'll have more soldiers available to pick from. And then I will certainly hire more soldiers throughout the campaign. Especially if it's going to be as difficult as I'm thinking it's going to be. We're probably going to see a lot more deaths, a lot more injuries. We're going to have fatigue. There's going to be some problems there. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I'm open to your thoughts on all of this stuff. You'll notice there's a couple of omissions. Like, I don't have any new class types in here. There are some class types on the workshop, and I may still add them because it adds so much more variety. There's like a recon class, which like you can use active skills to give you like a huge mobility boost, and then you get bonuses to flanking, but you have reduced chance to hit if the enemy's in cover. There's a lot of cool little classes out there, but I'm not sure how well they're balanced. So if you guys have any input on that and you have like significant playtime with any of the different classes that have been added, let me know. And the other thing I still need to decide on is a sword rebalancing mod. There's some out there that make swords hit for 100. I'm not sure if that's what we want. There's some out there that make it's like the katana one, but it just makes all of these swords available like right at the start, and I don't want that either. Like, I want to have like an upgrade path for swords, but I don't know what the right answer is. Should melee attacks be 100%? I don't know. Maybe they should be 90. Maybe they should be 95. I don't know what the right answer is, but I certainly feel like if I'm going to attack somebody with a sword, I've got to have a really good chance of hitting them. You know, I don't think it needs to be 100, but you know, if anybody has any input on a mod that can help me get more into the sword class, because I would love to do that, and I think it's really fun to play with the swords, but like realistically, you have a higher chance of your soldier dying. So yeah, anyways, I've been going on long enough about this. If you want, you can check out this path here. I'll also put it in the description. You can subscribe to all of these mods and then make your character and then upload it to the site that I showed you previously, ChristopherOdd.com. And I'll add you guys to the campaign, and we're gonna go back out there. We're gonna go back out there and we're gonna have a ton of fun doing it with a whole class of new soldiers. We're gonna see who's gonna become the new hero. I've made it so that the previous guys that showed up, so the Loxleys and the Polos and the Aeneases of the world, they are no longer eligible to be soldiers, but they may show up in other ways in the campaign. So we'll see what kind of stories we can get brewing with that. But yeah, hope this helps, guys. I know it was a bit long-winded. I thought this would be a quicker video, but it's not. If you guys have any input on the mods, please let me know. I'll be getting started within the next day or two. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Hope to see you guys submitting your soldier for the campaign. I think it would be a ton of fun to have as many of you in there as possible. So Yeah. Oh, and again, I'm kind of rambling here now, but because we are going to be using a larger starting roster and we're using fatigue, and this was like the main point of me adding fatigue, it will make it so that more people can get involved. I'll be able to add more soldiers and hire more, and I know I mentioned that before, but the main reason for that was to get more of you guys involved. I can't get everybody involved, obviously, but as many as we can, I think is great, and we'll see what happens. So thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
The world you once knew is no more. Earth is now ruled by the Advent Coalition and their alien masters.